well known that the Wii U was a commercial failure, no matter how big of a Nintendo fanboy you are. However, that doesn't mean that a few notable titles didn't get released on the platform. Flying well below the radar was one such title known as Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. Being a collaboration between Persona series developer Atlus and Nintendo, this would be an RPG that was widely unappreciated on the console. Now, the game has re-emerged as Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore to release on Nintendo Switch. With a larger group of console owners, the game has a real chance of getting in front of gamers. As much as it differentiates itself from other titles with some fantastic RPG systems, there's something ultimately subpar about this adventure as it fails to hit the high notes. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore begins as Itsuki turns up at an idol event, which is the last place he probably wanted to be. However, things turn supernatural as a portal to an alternate dimension opens and sucks in Itsuki's friend Tsubasa. Set on saving her, he rushes in to find an abundance of ghostly enemies known as Mirages, which awakens his performa and turns him into a Mirage Master. If you thought this was all happening too fast, well, then you're not wrong. The opening of the game doesn't stop to explain the characters' relationships with each other or why any of this is happening. Regardless, these mirages feed on humans' performa, and it just so happens that idols have an abundance of it. After saving Tsubasa, Itsuki finds out that his best friend is already a Mirage Master, and the three of them join an entertainment company to fight mirages and become idols. The story is perhaps the weakest part of the game, as it gives you no real motivation to get through it early on. It heavily focuses on Itsuki and Tsubasa's relationship, but fails to get you to care about any of the other supporting cast members. But in order to enjoy Encore, it's best to go into the story with a more open mind to the liberties that it takes. I mean, these are idol boys and girls singing and dancing to save the world. How serious can the story get? Well, surprisingly, some of the themes are impressively deep, showing us how people deal with insecurities and believing in yourself, but it's often tough to care about them when you barely care about the characters as it is. Encore has some amazing RPG systems that borrow much of what Shin Megami Tensei fans know and love. Throughout the story, new portals open up, and the party must investigate to defeat whatever mirage is creating the disturbance. Dungeons have some light puzzle elements to them, but expect themed maze-like dungeons with tons of enemies. Mirages can be seen around the dungeon, and encountering them will trigger a battle. Battles are turn-based and each take place on a stage. Each character has access to a handful of skills tied to their weapon and mirage. Each enemy has weaknesses that should be taken advantage of to trigger a follow-up attack with another party member. Battles have a nice increase in difficulty as you make your way through dungeons. Utilizing your party's skills will help you get through some tough situations, but expect to level grind if you don't want to die at the end boss. Weapons aren't purchased like in typical RPGs. Instead, players will create new weapons using materials and monsters that they've defeated. Each weapon has strengths and weaknesses and a level that increases during battle. Various skills are learned as a weapon increases in level, but only a certain number of skills can be equipped to a character. It forces you to fine-tune your character to fit your playstyle, and it's a great all-around feature. Characters can even learn new moves by using materials, which ties into some story missions. These systems are extremely approachable, which makes this a worthy game if you feel like an entry-level Persona adventure. In terms of visuals, Encore is a beautiful game, but I even thought that of the Wii U version. The animations and character models are colorful and charming, as costumes are consistently unlocked to change events up a bit. I suppose I should mention that the alterations made in the Wii U release have re-emerged in this title. If anything, I think I'm just a bit confused because there is still lewd dialogue and other sexual aspects about the game, so I don't really understand the changes. I will say that I dislike the changes made to Chapter 2, where Tsubasa is supposed to appear in a bikini, but mainly because I don't like the ugly costume they put her in. However, I didn't feel like it affected the story too much because it isn't all that good anyway. Where the game shines is found in its soundtrack. The game's focus on idol music did wonders to its appeal for me, as I caught myself humming along to the songs. Even if the story takes a while to become compelling, the soundtrack is there for you the entire time. In terms of extra content added to the Switch, there are new story missions and costumes, but other than that, the conclusion is still the same. Still, I enjoyed the additional party members and extra dungeons, but mainly because the battle system here is just so good. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore has some amazing RPG elements with a lackluster story. It's nearly impossible to care about these characters and their relationship within the first 10 hours of the game, and that's more than enough time for players to just give up from disinterest. As soon as the real antagonist shows up, things get better, but it's a crawl until that happens. Thankfully, the battle system, great character models, and the fantastic soundtrack are there to accompany you until the story kicks into gear. I had an excellent time playing through this game again, and I do hope that more RPG fans get the chance to experience it on its new console home. Noisy Pixel is giving Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.